Hello, this is the sailing vessel Wanderlust. It's a 1974 28-foot Columbia. It's a fin-keeled boat. I bought it for the purpose of doing a trip down through the Bahamas to the Turks and Caicos and back this year. Purchased a boat last fall. I went through it this spring. I've been a captain for over 24 years, and my wife and I had cruised at one time for about 14. Very happy with the rig. Changed out any running rigging that needed it. Upgraded to ground tackle. It's a 22-pound Delta with 25 foot of 5/16 chain, followed by, it's either 5/8 or 3/4, 130 foot of rode behind that. Installed the windlass. The sail is about an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. The mainsail is about a 6. I sent it out to a sail loft in Fort Lauderdale last winter, had them do a complete inspection on it, replaced the bolt rope and any other repairs they thought were necessary. They gave it a green light and a thumbs up. I had no trouble with it. I logged 1,379 miles, leaving Belglade, or actually LaBelle, where this boat is at, down to Fort Myers, through the Keys, Bimini, Andros, Nassau, Exumas, Long Island, Rum Cay, Mayaguana, Plana Cays, Crooked Island District. The boat sails very nice. People say, how do you cruise on a little boat like that? Well, you wait for weather, okay? I sailed in mostly 10 to 15 knots, though I did sail in some 15 to 20, actually quite a bit of 15 to 20 going down, and some 20 to 25 on some rougher days. The boat handled it just fine. Here's something that is a little different on it. It has a outboard in a well. Originally this boat was built with an Atomic 4. It was underneath this cockpit with the motor in the well and inboard of the transom. The propeller for this outboard is actually below where the propeller was for the Atomic 4. Which means I had absolutely zero problems with any cavitation in any kind of seas or anything else. That is a 8 horsepower Yamaha. It's very easy to service because you can pull the thing right out of the well. I had questions about the well originally when I first started sailing. And once I got offshore and I realized what I had was a giant scupper. And if people don't understand what a scupper is, a scupper is that drain in the bottom of your cockpit. It's supposed to let the water get out if you get pooped, which means you get water over the back of the boat. With that well there, if this boat tags any water over the stern or into this cockpit area, that's a huge drain. I had no problems with water coming back out of there into the cockpit. That is not an issue because it's always above the water line. The 8 pushed the boat at hull speed with no problem, about 1/3 throttle. Is where you run that most of the time. Sips about 1/3 of a gallon an hour. 17 gallons out of the tank on board. So you've got like a 45 to 50 hour run time on a tank of fuel. I'll fire that up. It's cold. It'll need a choke to get it started. Magnum barbecue grill. 2 100-watt solar panels. There's a wind generator that goes with the boat. It mounts there. The pole, the wind generator, and everything is in my shop. I did not get the bearings in time to replace the bearings before I left. The bearings have been installed, the unit is painted, and it has been bench tested. So that is fine. The controller's on board. It just needs a reinstallment. I went ahead, I've opened the boat up to let it cool off some, but I just put the fly. This is the fly that's normally here when you enter onto the boat. Second here, pop everything off. This boat has 2 sets of hatch boards. Actually, 1 set are hatch boards, which are going to be right here in a moment. I built these for going offshore. And these are traditional hatch boards. Okay. 3/4 inch plywood, solid. Again, if you take a large wave in this cockpit, which I never had any issues with that, but if you do, you need to keep the water from going down below, and you have a huge drain to get rid of the water. I have a set of bifold teak doors that are down below that go with the boat. Really beautiful set of doors. They mount right here on the hinges. They just pop right on. One of these come out and they go right in. Much prettier, and they make for doors that swing in and out, so it's easy to get in and out. Alright, in the cockpit we have an anemometer. We have a Garmin GPS 541 moving map. Alright, let's go to home, information, dashboard, my trip. So I did a total of 1,380 nautical miles. The 1642, I bought the boat in Miami last year and reset the odometer when I got to Key Largo. So that's the total number of miles I've put on the boat since I've owned it. And this is a trip I just finished at 1,380. Most people are familiar with these moving maps. Over on this side, we have Raymarine depth. And this is one of these by data units, so you can feed all types of information in there. It has a, I think it's Raymarine. I have to look at the autopilot now. I can't remember the name. Also, I don't wire stuff together. I prefer things to be independent so they don't crash one another. But the autopilot can be tied into the GPS and the anemometer and all that type of stuff. I just normally don't bother with any of it. Alright, these are basic electronics out here. Tiller, which makes for easy controls, no problems with wires or cabling, and also a less expensive autopilot for replacements in any future. Sheets were replaced on the main. Just trying to give you an idea what's out here. I think I'll actually stop the video here and go inside and start again. I like large ground tackle. Also, if you're not familiar with it, the capstan head like this will pull chain without any problem. And that's for any boat you get on. Always one wrap, never more than one. There's a 10-foot hard bottom inflatable that comes with the boat. A friend of mine got that for me last year, and I never got the title squared away on it. So I do not have it registered. I was having good luck with it until you can see the patch on the top of the starboard tube. I caught that underneath a swim platform, and I used what patching material I had available. If you're going to use that dinghy, right now it requires air in it once a day to keep that starboard tube completely inflated. And if you're going to take it out and use it for a long period, I'd go ahead and pull those patches off and put an internal patch on it, and then re-patch the outside. That's the proper way to do it. I just didn't have enough patching material when I was down there. Main halyard and jib halyards are led aft to the cockpit. And alright, that'll be the exterior walk around. Oh, and off the back, we have a swim platform with ladder, and that motor mount is actually for the dinghy engine. And then in case of you had a breakdown or something, it could be dropped down and also push the boat as a secondary backup motor.